Alright, so I'm starting out this one with an interesting feature. Basis being that in space, anyone from Earth out there would be the first one to know about anything. So, knowing about anything means that we are able to exchange our projections, because out there, things don't always obey the general rules. So I found the Large Magellanic Cloud, and next to it, a little interesting feature which looks like an X. Go figure, the X files. Well, this is probably a real X file. In general context, when you see them from the side, they're basically pretty flat. But with the same structure as a galaxy would have. On top of the in case facts are relatory and interactive by the means of energies that exist out there that are warped or which would warp our sense of perception while we observe them. The basis of this projection is about any star in the center of it, for that one for example. And let's see, blue supergiant, no stars like that have any planets on them. I'll do you one projection ahead while I'm doing this. It's based on the fact that externally in space there is so much damage done to the human body that to locate oneself in space would actually imply that we are in relation to our own being. I mean, how integral our body is. For example, this body here, it seems to be on the left and right. Alright? Now that's polar integrity. But what happens if you go to its surface? Supposing that everything in this zone is an X-file, so thus to place oneself you need a little bit of competence, meaning astronaut ability to see ahead, meaning that if you generally create a triangle from left to right here on the horizon, and you're the third point, any surface in the totality of the universe, of space, would have an underside to it, which is full of body damage functions, like burning up. Now you're already inside the core, so I mean, how do you reference the comp in that state while you approach it? You're actually being invited into the planetary inner core already. You would want to find some way to grapple the edges with some action-reaction potential to push and pull you away or towards such an object. And you would want to know if there is some position in space, in the universe, where all those action-reaction functions are already being done for you. I don't mean you being done in for contact, but on the basis that any such action-reaction potential would be the opposite as the reaction-action. And you would also have some action with some, which is the X valve, as the reaction, which in its statement just basically proves that escape. Because when you get that feeling of an reaction, well then you know that there's something interesting there. So let's check out the different sides of an reaction potential. That red point there, for example, and its background. Small nebula. Do we have any? There we go. Reaction. Those spots there in diffuse shapes. It's not actually dust clouds. It's space, wherein the action potential has changed spaces by the reaction of the position of the space dust. Alright. Now, here we have a reaction. We have some spatial diffusion, and we have some spatial diffusion behind it. So let's go to that point. There we go. Reaction, another red point. And I want to find this as jelly. Looks cubic. And it's very bright. So it's illuminating the opposite of the spatial staining we had previously. And it seems to be so red that even though it looks like space that we're going through here, it might actually be the red stuff that is space. So let's go into it. No stellar indications, meaning no dust. Or, as a question, have we run out of projective suggestions? Well, we were looking for a spatial that would be action, and reaction. And as long as we keep giving ourselves questions, well then, we just found 2 points here. Reaction and reaction. The action in the center. It seems to be this way whenever we're talking about symmetries in space. They're symmetrical for some reason or other. This one has water on it. Okay. An invitation. Peaceful contact with ET beings. What's this one here? H2O as well. Have we found another TRAPPIST system? I wonder why they define it as TRAPPIST. There's a lot of orbits there, and lots of planets, and they all have to fit into each other due to the massive force of reaction. Now that one only had helium and hydrogen gas. Check this one out. That one. Also, basic solutes for presence of nothing more than a rocky world. Okay, so let's check out the other proximal as we approached it. That's that one there. Okay. Getting a hang on with all my jargon. Cool. Let's see. Just basically getting a lesson in X-File talk. Or free information, like no illegal secrecy, or because obviously between any action event, you have the really good stuff. Why some of this stuff is centered. As everything in the universe must have a center. One has a vortex. It seems to just have tried to capture us in it. We had a water world on the left side, and we can compare it to the cool ice giant we just encountered, and center it in the small Magellanic Cloud. Let's see what we get at that position there. Now, there should be a reaction happening here, and there we go, there's that one. There we go. Have we found something that is beyond intelligence? Perhaps. It's a yellow dwarf. You don't find many of those, except for our sun. H2O there also. So the clue to looking for H2O planets, look into some advice only. If you want to check into it, look for dwarfs or yellow dwarfs or yellow supergiants. That one didn't have any water in it, but we did encounter something in our data that said we would have water here. St. H2O. Now this one has the same spectral similarity to its background. It means an integrated planet or force field in some way or other, which is symbiotic with the diffuse light of the small Magellanic Cloud. So now you have the ability to see through space in reference to these planets. And the rings are also signifying some kind of similarity there. Let's see. Let's go to this one. Alright, so much shown today as regards X-Files. In terms of the visual and its change, there are obviously places in the universe that are the causal of the action-reaction or reaction-action. And as we know, light has that function. We also know that there must be some differences of light in the universe. Some of them action-action, and others are reaction-reaction. Or reaction-reaction-reaction, and so on. See ya.